xyz plus the rate at which pressure changes with x times delta x over 2 while y and z are held constant. That is the pressure on this face here. Same way the pressure on the other face, this is what we call as phase 1 and this is what we call as phase 2. The pressure on phase 2, x minus delta x over 2 comma y comma z, this is the pressure at xyz minus or plus the rate of change of pressure with respect to x times minus delta x over 2 plus there are higher order terms. Okay. So what do I need? I need to take P1A1 and P2A2. So this is what I called as pressure at phase 1, pressure at phase 2. Pressure at phase 1 and phase 2. So I have sigma fx which is 0 which is equal to P1. Okay, I'm going to write P1 as P plus partial P over partial x times delta x over 2. And I am leaving out a bunch of other terms because they are much smaller compared to the top two terms. Okay, it's just a mathematical way of making an approximation. And I have to multiply this by A1. Multiply this by A1, which is, we did discuss what is A1. So if this is x, this is y, and this is z, this is going to be delta y delta z. That is A1 is equal to A2 is equal to delta y delta z. Okay. So I have minus P1A1 plus P2A2 plus P2A2. So if I clean this up, it's going to cancel out. I have a minus here, I have a minus here, so they'll add up. I'll have minus partial P over partial x, delta x, delta y, delta z. Here is divided by 2, but I am repeating it twice, so that's multiplied by 2. So this goes in. So what I have here is 0 equals minus partial P over partial x times the volume of the fluid. The product of these two is 0. Obviously I have chosen a volume of the fluid. Volume cannot be 0. So I can simply conclude that the variation of pressure along the x direction is 0. Now recall your situation. Your situation is you have a fluid that is at rest. Here is x, here is y, here is z, and gravity acts down. Gravity acts down. So what this means is pressure does not change if there is no force along a direction. In this case, that direction happens to be the x direction. So if the derivative is 0, that's another way of saying P doesn't change along x. Okay. You can apply the exact same argument for the y direction because I wrote this as x, this as y. If I switch the label, nothing changes. It's the exact same argument with a different symbol. So x and y are interchangeable directions. You can't distinguish if I make a change. Okay. So it's the same argument for x and y. So I can also write the partial with respect to x is equal to the partial with respect to y is equal to 0. Or this implies pressure is independent of x and y. If it changes at this point, it could only be due to changes in z. The pressure can vary only with height and not with x and y direction. This has an important implication. Okay? This fact has an important implication. And what is that implication? Let me erase this here. The partial with respect to x with respect to y is 0 implies pressure is independent of x and y first of all, and that implies the pressure at a given is same for all points that are in the same horizontal level, that are in the same horizontal level and connected by the same fluid. What do I mean by that? Here is your fluid. Here is the point that you considered P. We just found out that the pressure doesn't change with x or y. It doesn't change if you are in this level. All the points that are part of this level they have the exact same pressure. Points that are connected by the same fluid and are at the same horizontal level have the same pressure. And what is horizontal? Which direction is horizontal? Whenever you have gravity, if you consider this direction to be horizontal, to be the vertical, anything that's perpendicular to it is going to be the horizontal. Whatever is perpendicular to the vertical is the horizontal, right? They are mutually perpendicular. So the pressure is same at every point on this horizontal level. That's the takeaway, because partial P over partial x and partial P over partial y are 0. There is gravity or any force is not acting along x and y direction. So we are left with calculating the variation of pressure with z, the height coordinate, and that's the thing that we will do next. So we can repeat this whole derivation, and suppose we start again. Okay, this is delta z. Okay, this is the vertical direction, and here is P. This station is z plus delta z over 2, and this station is z minus delta z over 2. The pressure on the top face is acting in this direction. I'll call this I'll call this top face as A and the bottom face as B. So here is x, here is z, and y is coming out from the plane of the paper. So here is minus PA, and at the bottom pressure is always compressive and always normal. Keep repeating it to yourself. So that is P at phase A and P at phase B. Okay? The pressure at point P, which is at the center of this cube, is XYZ, is P, is lowercase p. So we want to write the Taylor series expansion of the pressure at surfaces A and B. So we want to write the pressure at surface A and the pressure at surface B. Okay? So that would be P at XYZ, or at this point, plus this height difference, plus this height difference. So this would be dP over dZ plus dP over dZ times delta Z over 2, keeping x and y constant, plus dP over dZ, keeping x and y constant, minus delta Z over 2, minus delta Z over 2. And then there are higher order terms that we ignore. Okay? So we already have like an approximation for what is the pressure on the top face and bottom face. What we need is we need to do a force balance along the z direction and say sum of that adds up to 0. Now what are the forces along the z direction? You can see that on the top face, pressure is acting to compress that surface. It's acting down. It's acting opposite to the chosen z direction. So that would be minus P A times the area of face A. At the bottom, you have pressure acting up, which is positive. So I have plus pressure at face B times area of face B. Okay. Unlike x and y directions, gravity is also acting down, so it has to be negative. That is, if upward is positive, downward is negative. So we have minus the density of the fluid times the volume of the fluid times gravity. This is the mass of the fluid. Okay, density times volume, that's mass. So I have this equation and they all sum up to 0. Okay. Now, one thing that we didn't discuss is what is the area of the top face and bottom face. The area of the top face, the area of the bottom face. This is x, this is z. The area is there is delta x and then delta y. Okay, so you have delta x times delta y being the areas of the top and bottom face. Let's put all this together. I have minus p plus partial p over partial z delta z over 2 times delta x delta y plus second term p minus delta p over delta z, plus minus delta z over 2 delta x delta y, and then I have minus the density of the fluid. I'll just write rho. Okay. Delta V, what's the volume of the fluid? That would be the volume of this cube, which is delta x delta y delta z times gravity equals 0. So if we clean up this equation, we'll end up with something that's similar to this. Okay, if I do that, I can cancel out P and P. P times delta x delta y, P times delta x delta y, negative positive. So I can cancel this. Here is a negative, here is a negative, so they will add up. Here is a negative. So if I continue, I have minus partial P over partial Z times delta x delta y delta Z minus density times delta x delta y delta Z times G equals 0. This is volume. I can cancel it because it's not 0. So I have partial P over partial Z equals minus rho G. In addition to the other two equations, which is delta P over delta x equals delta P over delta y equals 0. So we earlier argued that the pressure has to vary only with Z, and this is how it varies. The rate of change of pressure with Z is equal to minus density times gravity. This is a very, very consequential equation in fluid statics. This equation tells us pressure variation with height or depth along the vertical or the direction of gravity. Okay, we found out that you have a tank of liquid. All the points that are at the same vertical level have the same pressure. Okay, if you go down in this direction, pressure increases. What this statement says is the pressure changes with height at the rate of minus rho g. So you are going to have higher pressure at the bottom, and as you go in the other direction, pressure is going to decrease. We'll see how that happens, because this variation is the density of the fluid, and we saw that in the discussion about density, it could be incompressible or it could be compressible. So based on what is the fluid that you are dealing with, this can lead to different situations or different variations. But the big takeaway is, I'll start summing it up. What do we know about pressure so far? Pressure at a point is a scalar. Is always compressive and normal to a surface. Is always compressive and normal to a surface. What I mean by that is, whatever your surface is, this is how you draw pressure. If you have a wall, this is how you draw pressure. Okay? Is same for all points in the same horizontal level, provided provided they are connected by the same fluid. Connected by the same fluid. Okay. And lastly, varies with height or depth along the direction of gravity. Along the direction of gravity. The most important equation that we will use in this context is the variation of pressure with height is minus rho g, and the variation of pressure along the surface, we don't have to state it here, I guess. Just write it here. Okay. So this is going to be something that we will discuss in the next part. Okay. Pressure is going to vary along with height or depth.